Hello friend, welcome you all. Today's our topic is changing privilege level. The learning objective of this topic is to explore the need of privilege level change, to explore different ways of changing the privilege levels, to understand the significance of Colgate method, to understand the significance of confirming code segment. Before going to the main topic, let's see how the privilege level is there and how the protection is applicable in a protected mode. There are four privilege levels from PL0 to PL3 with PL0 as the most privilege and PL3 as the least privilege. Whenever any program is running in a protected mode, 80386 continuously check that the application is privileged enough to execute certain instruction, to refer the data other than its own, and to transfer the control to the other code other than its own. Therefore, here the need comes for changing the privilege level. Now, defining the privilege level. The first one, DPL, descriptor privilege level. It is defined in a segment descriptor which defines the privilege level of the entire segment. Current privilege level. No field of the register defines the CPL of the processor. CPL is determined by the level of the code that is currently running. Requester privilege level. These are the last two bits of the segment selector. Input output privilege level IOPL. These are defined in a E flag register. There are two ways for changing the privilege level. One, the simplest one, that is confirming code segment, and another one is a complex way, that is a Colgate method. Let's see the first one, confirming code segment. A code segment is considered confirming if the bit 2 of the access write bit of its descriptor is set, that is a type 6 and type 7 descriptor. A confirming code segment can have a read permission. Now confirming code segment have no inherent PL of their own. They conform to the level of the code that call them or jump to them. For example, if a program in a PL2 segment transfer the control to a confirming code segment, then a confirming code also runs at the PL2 level. Same is applicable for 0, 1, 2 also. Therefore, confirming code segment never contains any privilege instruction. Now, when control transferred to the confirming code segment, the RPL bits of the segment register, that is CS, are not changed to match with the DPL. There is one restriction regarding who can access the confirming code segment, and that restriction is the DPL of the confirming code segment is less than the CPL. That is, we can transfer the control only across or up. We can never transfer our control to any other than this privilege level. Our next method is a Colgate method. The confirming code concept allows some degree of a freedom for changing the privilege level, although it is not actually going to change the privilege level. A Colgate is a special system descriptor that acts as an interface layer between the code segment at the different level. A Colgate is the only way for changing the PL on 80. The Colgate defines a certain entry point at the higher privilege level. It never allows the complete control of the higher privilege level. Now let's see the format of Colgate descriptor, which is a system descriptor. Colgate descriptor do not define any memory space. They have no base address or limit field. We can say that they are not a descriptor at all, but it is convenient to place this system descriptor in a descriptor table itself. Now the selector who is pointing to the call gate descriptor cannot be loaded in any of the data segment, that is DS, ES, FS or GS, or cannot be loaded in a stack segment SS. They can be loaded in the CS, that is a code segment. Now let's see how we transfer to the higher privilege level by using the call gate. Figure show the correct way of the transfer of the call gate. The call gate is the only mechanism, as we seen, that allow us to transfer our call at the higher privilege level, but we can only use a far call instruction which can be allowed to change our PL. As you can see in the diagram, the far call instruction is showing the entry point to the gate descriptor, that is a call gate descriptor. In the call gate descriptor, it points to the code descriptor which is at the higher PL. Now by using that code gate descriptor, now I will get an entry point at the higher PL, but not to the entire code segment, rather to the limited access. Thus, by using a call gate, I can enter to the higher PL, but a direct access of a higher code segment is not given, rather that is given through the gate descriptor. So, the figure explains in a detail. The reference is taken from the book Advanced 80386 Programming Techniques by James Turley. Thank you for watching.